Okay, so we are live. Hello, everybody in the comments. I'd like to welcome Hikkipedia to the channel.
Hey, thank you
Yay.
for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad we could we could work it out this time.
I know, I'm so sorry about last time if anyone came for that. I feel really bad about that, but it's
Nothing to be
working now.
yeah, nothing to be done, right? So, yeah, can you? I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of people who will know about you already, but can you tell us about your channel and what got you into YouTube, what got you into J-pop, and all that?
Sure. So my channel I started, it was actually inspired by someone else who did J-pop reviews that were really funny, but he since has privatized all his videos. So, but anyway, I started a channel because of him and also because I didn't have anyone in real life that was interested in the same things as me. So I wanted to meet new people, and I don't know, YouTube seemed like there's kind of this niche place where I could fit into there with the whole nerd culture and like the anime culture and stuff.
Sure.
And the way I got into J-pop is through anime as well. When I was a teenager, I was a really big anime otaku, and if anyone remembers LimeWire, that old client for downloading stuff,
Yes. Yes.
I used to download. I didn't have a fast enough connection to download full anime episodes or anything, so I used to download AMVs.
Yeah, right.
Anyone remember? And a lot of them were set to Japanese songs or like the intro songs, and so I started getting into J-pop through basically anime songs.
What was your, do you remember like your first group or whatever that you got into through like an intro song or something?
Um, One of my earliest memories is Hamasaki Ayumi's Step You, one of her singles
Sure.
from back in the day. And that I'm pretty sure that came out when I was like 14. That was when I was really getting into music and downloading a lot of stuff like that.
Right, when you were young and impressionable.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. I remember for me it was, I think I've said this before, but it was Do As Infinity.
Yeah.
From like the Inuyasha intros or exit songs, whichever it was. I don't really remember, but
Yeah.
yeah. And I don't really remember the AMV is more than actually there was Linkin Park's By Myself set to like Dragon Ball Z that was really popular. Which
Yeah.
maybe I shouldn't cop to that, but anyway. Yeah.
I've probably seen it.
Yeah, I'm sure it got around anyway. So you've been doing this what for now, like three-ish years or so?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was 3 years in June or July.
I see. And what is the plan going forward? Do you want to keep on making videos for a while? Are you still having fun?
Oh yeah, for sure. I love making videos. I love editing a lot, which was something I wasn't really expecting when I first started. I didn't even know how to edit, and I just thought I'm not going to edit.
Sure.
But it turned out to be a really enjoyable hobby for me. So
I find that editing is really fun as long as you have enough to work with. But if you know what I mean, if you shoot yourself short, then that's just the most stressful, boring sort of thing to do. In my
yeah,
experience.
I have a couple of videos in the can where I was like, this just didn't turn out. I'm not gonna upload it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, so that's Hikkipedia. Go check her out. The links are in the description below, of course, to social media on Tumblr and also on Twitter and her channel link. So please check out her videos.
Thank you.
Before we go forward, let's do the lightning round.
Okay.
So for those of you who have seen the live streams on this channel before, the lightning round is basically just a set of 5 questions that we try and answer while ridiculous music goes on in the background. We just want to answer as quick as we can, hopefully finish before the song is done.
Okay.
So today's song, inspired by Justin Satov, aka, I don't know if I should say his entire name. Anyway, Man in Japan.
Really now?
Yeah, right? Whoops. Sorry, Man in Japan. We're going to do the Benny Hill theme song.
Awesome.
Yes. So are you ready for the dumb questions?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Okay, that's fair enough. All right, here we go. Play music. Too loud. Too loud. Okay. All right. So, what is your like guilty pleasure as far as like music or movies and all that are concerned?
Reality TV.
Reality TV, like Big
Yeah.
Brother or
America's Next Top Model is my favorite show.
okay, okay. Yeah. I had a dark period of that myself.
Oh, no way.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. All right, question number 2. What do you hate? Like what is it that like no matter how or when you experience it makes you like just irrationally angry?
I hate people that treat like minimum wage workers, people who work in grocery stores or as waitresses or whatever. I hate people that treat them like objects or just treat them with no respect and don't follow the kind of social protocol. That really makes me mad.
I think that is the best answer given
Really?
so far to that question so far. Yes. Well done. All right, favorite
Thanks.
favorite swear word or combination of words.
Lately I've been taken to saying fucking L, like without the H.
Ah,
Fucking
I
L.
see. What turned you onto that?
One of my coworkers is English, and I kind of copy his speech a lot, much to his chagrin. And I listen to a lot of British or English books too, so I listen to the English accent a lot.
Sure.
I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
Also, plus 10 points for Gryffindor for your use of chagrin.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
But I'm in Ravenclaw, so.
Ah, boo. Boo.
What? You're a Gryffindor?
Yes, absolutely. All right. Question number 4.
Can't be friends. Sorry.
No, I'm not a Slytherin. Don't hate me. Question number 4. Who's your YouTube crush?
So many. Well, I asked Kaz to marry me. Kaz Cool. Of course, Regan.
Right. Yeah, he's a handsome bastard. That guy.
So beautiful.
Yes.
And he's vegan, and I'm pescatarian, so I'm into that. And a lot of people hate him, but I don't know if you've heard of him, Onision.
I haven't.
No. Oh, he's kind of a big YouTuber, but he does these.
Sorry, go ahead.
He does like these offensive like comedy videos, and but he's also just really smart, and he's a good actor and stuff. And
all right, well, I will check him out, and then I'll let you know whether or not I hate him too.
Okay.
That sounds.
Or if you find him attractive, tell me.
I'll also let you know. The world can see.
Okay.
All right. Final question. Given your choice of drink, if you're out on the town or you're home working or whatever, beer, wine, or other.
I can't drink beer. Right now I'm actually drinking white wine with orange juice. Is that a mimosa or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's just choice. Classic.
I like mixed drinks, yeah.
All right, well, fantastic. Nicely done. I
Thank
sort
you.
of cheated and restarted the song a little bit, but we had some good stuff.
Oh, you did? Damn it.
I do not feel bad about
proud.
it. I mean, still, it was like 4 minutes. It's still a pretty good lightning round, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
All right. So, let's dive into the meat. Obviously, your channel is is built around like Japanese music.
Yeah.
And one of the things we talked about off the air was how in your recent live stream you sort of got a little flack, not you personally, but people saying that K-pop is like the ruler of the Asian pop space. And in your own words, why do you think that remains untrue? Why is J-pop still the thing for you? Like, why aren't you doing K-pop now instead of?
That's a good question. I do like one K-pop group a lot, but it's still the only K-pop I've been able to get into. I think a big part of it is because I have been into J-pop for so long, like I said, since I was about 14, and I'm now almost 28.
Right.
So half of my life.
Sure.
And I've also studied Japanese. I've had Japanese friends. I've been to Japan. So kind of going to K-pop would be like starting from the ground up again. And because I don't understand any Korean, it's a lot. I feel like it's more difficult for me to just listen to.
I see what you mean. Right, so you just sort of have like a lot of history, right? Sort of
Yeah.
ingrained at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, 14 years of J-pop. That's a lot of J-pop. Is there a, I don't know how to say, maybe like a touchstone act that you've really liked the entire time, or?
Yeah, definitely Utada Hikaru, my namesake here on YouTube.
Sure.
Yeah.
But she's sort of been inactive for a little while, right? Of course, but now that's set to change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sucked for me.
Well, how long has it been since the last album?
I think it came out in 2010. So almost 5 years.
That's a long wait. Mm-hmm. Here's hoping though, right? Kingdom Hearts is coming out, new album's coming out.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Yeah, and she said
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. she was saying that that she'll do, or I don't know if it was confirmed or if it's speculation, but that she'll do the next Evangelion theme song as well.
Oh, that's cool.
And like all of those we're kind of hoping are going to come around the same time. So
sure. Like a big resurgence type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Flip side of that, who do you think is the most overrated J-pop artist?
There's so many I hate. Probably Kyari.
I'm sorry, can you say again?
Pamu.
Yeah.
Pamu or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had her on like a bunch of morning news shows this past week because she's making a new Halloween themed song and video or whatever, and it was just, I was watching and I was so underwhelmed. So
yeah,
definitely on board with that.
Sorry, I just hate how she's like, I'm so weird, and it's just, she's just hitting you over the head like, look how weird and kooky and quirky I am. And
yeah, she kind of has like the Gaga thing going on.
Yeah.
But without, I feel like, as much musical substance behind the crazy weirdness.
She can't sing. At least Gaga can really sing.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. You heard it here first. Beware the hate comments from Pamu boys/girls. What about like Ayumi though? Like you've gotten a fair amount of criticism for your opinion, I think.
Yeah. Ayu is so hard for me because there are things about her that I really like, and then there's other things about her that I really do not like. And there's so many people in the J-pop community, and I'm sure any community, where they're so into one certain thing that they'll just defend it to the death, and they won't admit even when that thing it could be better. And that happened with my Amuro Namie reviews as well, where I did criticize her quite a bit, even though I was like, I like her, even if I preface it saying I really like her, but I'm not going to be biased in my review and say, oh, everything's perfect when it's far from it.
Right.
Yeah. So
even the best artists in the world tend to still put out like a shit album, at least one, you know? Yeah. So yeah, that's fair. But what is it about Ayu? Is it her voice, her style? Like what is it that for you is not?
Well, like I said in my last review of hers, my first impression of her was someone who has had a lot of plastic surgery. Yeah, and right. that it just made me feel kind of iffy about her. Not because I'm against plastic surgery, but just because she doesn't leave her face alone. Like, if you look at the pictures of her from like 1999 up to now, she doesn't even look like an Asian person anymore.
She's got like the Cher thing going on.
Yeah. Yeah. and a couple of years ago, she got lip injections, and she just had like long blonde hair, and I was just and then she put out this song called You're So Beautiful or something like that, and I just wanted to like grab her and shake her and be like, leave your face alone and listen to your own advice. Sure. Yeah, so and just like a lot of her singing techniques are so bizarre. Like she she tends to force certain notes into her nose, and she's like purposefully singing in a nasal tone when I know that she can sing a lot better than that. Like it's only for certain things that she chooses to sing that way, and it just hurts my fucking ears. So I don't understand why she has to do
Right.
these songs like this.
Yeah, that's basically how I feel about her too. I can't get into her singing voice. It's the proverbial nail on chalkboard for me. Nails
Yeah.
on a chalkboard. But also, isn't she's going like progressively deaf too, isn't she?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that sucks really bad for her. I mean, that's probably any musician's nightmare, right? So
Yeah.
but I mean, she keeps going and she's still making music, so I'm guessing she can still hear
Yeah, I mean, I
well
guess
enough.
she, yeah, well enough to still have such a huge fan base anyway.
As far as I know,
Yeah.
it's only one of her ears that is affected so far.
Oh, that's like, I guess that's good news, right?
Yeah.
Well, going forward, what what are you looking forward to as far as like albums that are coming out soon? Who's putting them out?
There's a single coming up soon by Crystal K,
Hmm.
and it's featuring Amuro Namie, which is a really big deal for her. Crystal K has been around for a long time, and she's never really broken into like huge stardom
Hmm.
in Japan or overseas. And Namie is huge. She's been one of the biggest, if not the biggest, solo female artist in Japan for a long time. So I'm really looking forward to that and seeing if that kind of boosts Crystal's career at all, because I've been following her since like Full Metal Alchemist, the original series. And of course, the new Utari Hikaru album, whenever it's going to be announced. It hasn't been announced the release date for it yet. So yeah, that's about it for what I know of is coming out anyway.
Hmm. We're here to hear it first, people. Keep your eyes open for wonderful things coming. So let's change gears a little bit, and I want to talk about
Okay.
sort of like your outside of YouTube, like your other creative work, right? So you're not to go into too much detail, but your day job, you're in animation.
Yeah, I work in TV animation. I'm not an animator, but I went to school for animation, and I am a background art supervisor. So those like landscape pieces or buildings or whatever that the characters are acting on, that's the artwork that I'm looking at.
I see. And so how many? I mean, I know so little about like the animation process. So how much? I mean, how long does it take? How much work does it take for it to go from that sort of conceptual stage into a finished product?
Um, a long time.
Mm,
It takes a long time, and it depends on how many people are working on it and the scale of the production and stuff. Like a Pixar movie probably takes years and years. Probably takes like 5 years, right?
sure.
Um, but in TV animation, it works kind of like a conveyor belt, I guess, or I don't know how to describe it, but
Sure.
everyone's in their own departments, so they're set up in a way that the writers go first, and then the storyboarders go after the writers, and then the storyboards go to the background artists, and then the backgrounds go into the people who do scene setup. So in digital animation, we have this department called setup where they put everything into the scene file. Just because there's so much that goes into it, like they put in the background, the characters, the sound effects, the storyboard, and stuff like that. And then that goes into animation. Then that goes into effects animation, and then that goes into compositing, which then goes into whoever is compiling everything after that.
Wow. So I mean, so it's not just like a okay, you script it in the morning, it's done by the night type of thing. So it's really lengthy.
No, and when I was in school, I did an independent film, like a traditional film that was hand drawn. And it was only like a minute and a half at the most. I think it was less than that. And that took me 8 months.
Wow.
So,
Well, how
yeah.
many? Now, what does animation typically run at? Is it 30 frames per second or?
It's 24 frames per second.
Okay.
But I think now they might be moving into 30 with like the 4K TVs coming out and stuff. I don't know.
Sure. So for a minute, for you to draw all those, yeah, crazy. That's crazy. That seems like such an incredible amount of work. But is that, I mean, is that
Yeah.
something you wanted to do when you were a kid, or did that evolve as you?
More like when I was a teenager. When I was younger, I was really into science, and I wanted to be an archaeologist for my entire life, and I still do. But in high school, I started doing kind of poorly academically, so I kind of switched focuses, and I'd always been into drawing too, so something in there just clicked, and that's where I ended up.
Did the fact that you were full blown like otaku by this point have anything to do with that decision? I don't know your history. It may be unfair to say full blown, but
oh no, it's okay. I started the anime club when I was like 16.
You're the founder. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah, like I did draw anime style when I was a teenager, and kind of had those ideas of having my own manga, that kind of thing.
Sure.
I was like a typical otaku back then, where I thought I would move to Japan and become a manga artist and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Makes you feel any better? I want to have my own manga, but I can't draw worth shit, so.
Oh, that's a problem.
Yes,
you have to hire an artist.
Yes. Or yeah. But c'est la vie and all that. But so what is there anything out there that you feel like sharing that your company has put out that people can take a look at on YouTube, or again, if you're comfortable with sharing?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm allowed to talk about. Like they're very iffy about us talking about what we've worked on the internet, even if it's out there, I guess.
Sure. Well, we can say, yeah. I mean,
we've done a few shows on Disney XD.
Sure.
I don't know if anyone knows that channel, but.
Well, in my research for this, of course, I won't name any specific shows, but suffice it to say that there are some pretty popular things around that maybe you guys have watched that maybe Vicky here has worked on. So keep it in mind, for sure. Cool stuff. Which I was really surprised, because I had watched one of the shows, just because of the job that I do, and had shown it to my kids at the school. And then when I was doing the research, I was really sort of blown away to find that was like part of your body of work. So that's really cool.
Oh, what was it? A pirate themed show?
No, it was a much. It was a bigger. I don't know necessarily bigger, but a more recognizable property. I guess we can put it that way.
What? That one was huge. Okay, tell me later.
Okay,
tell me later what it was.
I will. Sorry, yeah, it's getting a little inside joke, I guess. But right. So moving on. So your day job is animation. You both draw, like you said, and you also, I mean, obviously animation is drawing, but I mean more like illustration, and you're also a writer, right?
Yep.
So how do you balance all of these things? I mean, between making videos and being like living the artistic lifestyle every day. I mean, do you ever feel that professionally working in art burns out sort of you personally trying to get ahead in your own personal projects?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's super hard to draw on my tablet all day at work for 8 hours or more, and then come home and sit down at my tablet at home. Right. It's usually like the last thing I want to do. And if I do want to do it, there's always like 10 other things I have to do around the house. Like I was telling you before, I have 4 pets. I have my own house, and like, you know, I'm an adult and I have a lot of stuff to do all the time. And yeah, it can be tough. When I was working on a story for a book last year, my YouTube definitely suffered. I just couldn't pull that time to do the editing. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know how I don't manage it. Basically, is what I'm trying to say, is that I have to pick one or the other. Usually, like if I sit down to work on a video, I usually work on it until it's finished, and I can't work on it for like half an hour and then be like, okay, now I'm gonna draw for half an hour, and then I'm gonna do chores around the house for an hour or something like that. Like I don't like that would be more ideal, but that just
It's just not the
isn't
way you
how
work.
it isn't how it's been working out for me, and it often makes me think of leaving my job and maybe taking a little bit of time off, or taking like a part-time job at Starbucks or something, and that
Right.
would be enough to cover like my utilities, and then I would have to live off my savings or something, but then I would maybe have the energy to work more on my personal projects, and then I would have more time as well. So
Right.
it's something I think about a lot.
I think before I came here, I
Mm-hmm.
wrote that's what I did. You know, I wrote, it was basically blogs all day, 8 hours a day.
Okay.
And it was the same thing for me. It's like I just could not bring myself to come home and work on my novel or work on
Mm-hmm.
travel posts or whatever the case may be. And yeah, same
Mm-hmm.
thing now. Now that I'm outside of that industry, it's like, where do you find the time? And so, like,
Mm-hmm.
when my YouTube channel goes dark for 2 weeks, that means I found the motivation to work on my writing for 2 weeks, right? I can't.
Yeah.
There's just, I think maybe there is sort of a misconception too, whether it's about making videos or writing or any kind of art, that it just sort of, the muse hits and then you can do it, right? That it's not this sort of sit down and grind and push through the wall type of process. Um,
Yeah.
and I just don't, at least not for me, and maybe it sounds like not for you. It's not a multitasking sort of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. That's, I mean, there are worse things, right? There are worse things than writing for a
Yeah.
living or working in animation for a living, for sure. But
Yeah. And I always feel bad for complaining about it, because I did go to school for it and it's a great job, and I do get to work with art all day, but at the end of the day it is a job, and I have a boss, and I'm not drawing what I want to draw. I'm not doing my own stories and stuff. So yeah, it's tough.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, still within your own experience, right? So
Yeah.
no guilt, no guilt necessary.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you have published some of your own stuff, right?
Yeah.
And you're working on a project now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you wanna talk about that?
Yeah. So recently I've been writing a comic, and it's kind of like a fantasy, coming of age story sort of thing. It's kind of
Sure.
like Wizard of Oz meets Game of Thrones, with less gore and rape and stuff.
Oh,
Um,
well, it's not good to have more, I guess.
yeah. um, so yeah, I actually would like to, once I kind of put that out there, like once I actually start drawing it, which I haven't at all. I
Right.
know what the characters look like and stuff, but I haven't drawn a page yet. I haven't drawn a comic page yet. I would like to actually open a new YouTube channel and do like art related stuff on that channel.
Sure.
Like as if I have time, but
Right. Well, that's just gonna. I mean, I have toyed with the idea of doing the same thing for writing, but I mean,
mm-hmm.
it's exactly what we just talked about. Then what suffers? What suffers so that
Mm-hmm.
you can do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, how does writing a comic differ from writing anything else? I mean, do you write to a frame? Or yeah, do you write to each frame, or do you write a whole page and then frame it, or
I generally don't write in my frames or panels or pages. Some comic writers do. Just because I'm working by myself, I don't need to direct another artist or anyone like that. Like
sure.
I know in my head what it's going to look like already. And also, I mean, I know I can picture what it's going to look like, but when I sit down to draw the page, it usually is a little different than even if I wrote out the panels or frames or anything, then it probably wouldn't be the same once I started actually drawing it. Just because that's too much direction, like writing something and then looking at it visually is totally different. And also with my comic script, since it's not the only text in it that will be seen by someone else is the dialogue or narration. I don't have to worry about making it nice outside of the dialogue, you know? So I just like write down really fast what's happening and the settings and stuff like that. And it's a really fast process compared to writing prose or writing an essay, say.
But then you have to draw it, of course.
Yeah, that's the kick. That's what I'm always thinking when I'm writing it. I'm like, I have to draw this fucking shit, so I just keep writing it. That's probably why I haven't drawn it, because I've written over 4 chapters and I haven't drawn a single page. So writing is a lot easier than writing and drawing it.
What are you looking at like long term as far as the media you're going to use to like push that out? Are you going to go? Do you want to go traditional? Are you going to go digitally, like on a Tumblr, or what's your plan?
I'm going to go digital. I basically only know how to do digital art other than just drawing with a pencil. Like I have no idea how to paint with real paints or ink, but it's going to have its own website, like as its base. Yeah.
So you won't have like a physical, like a graphic novel, like a hardback or something. At least that's the plan.
Well, that would be like the second thought. Like if it gained a following, if there's people who actually wanted to buy it, then I could do like a publishing Kickstarter, which is what we did for the book that I was just in.
Right.
So where the Kickstarter basically serves as a pre-order for the book. Right.
Which, by the way, you can find a link in the description for that book that Hickey is mentioning. Please check it out. Support.
Thanks.
I have to pick up my copy too. You know, that's really, really exciting. And I guess I always really like talking to people who are like similarly trying to get these things out into the world. Do you have you set a deadline for yourself?
No. Yeah.
Right. Which I guess.
Do you set deadlines?
Yeah, but it's always it's sort of always in vain, right? Because so often I'll write them before the deadline, and then I'll edit them, and then I'll let them sit for a couple of days, right, just to get some fresh eyes, basically, and then I hate them.
Yeah.
Which is just like right. So, yeah, I mean, it seems kind of pointless. Like it should just be all right. Just try and get this done sometime, I guess. Finishing should be deadline enough, maybe. But I don't know about you, but I have so many like poor aborted like stories just sitting like a 10th done in a drawer someplace that I just was like, fuck this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So such
but
is
at least
the delay.
you attempted something, you know? You're putting in the hours. Even if you're not publishing it, you still have to put in a certain number of hours, right, in order to get to that level where you can finish something or
that's true. No, I guess I mean in the same way maybe willpower is a muscle, like so is creative will, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's exhausting. Like again, it's you have to sit down like you're saying, and sometimes you have to force yourself to do it and treat it like a job, and you're just like just like any other job. Sometimes you hate it. So.
Are you a chronic editor?
I've gotten less chronic now. I'm more sort of surgical, I guess, because if you can't tell by the way I speak, I'm very long-winded. It also comes out in my prose that way. And I've gotten better just sort of taking out like the needed like the unneeded fluff. So that's better.
Yeah.
And I've gotten better at not being so critical on myself, because I think when you're overly critical, you end up taking out like the weird part of your voice that makes people want to read you or watch you or whatever in the first place. So yeah, how about you? Are you constantly chipping away at the marble, or can you just let something be?
Yeah. No, I have to, I don't know when to stop. Like, I have to physically remove myself from the computer to leave something alone. And that's with my comic script. Like, every time I open it, I'll go through it and like take stuff out, add stuff in, like just analyze like the characters, and then I can't stop. And it was the same thing with my comic that I put in the book. I was changing it, editing it up until like a couple minutes before the deadline.
Right.
And I'd been working on it for months.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Which, I mean, I guess is sort of what you're supposed to do, right? Like, it's always supposed to be a process of refinement.
Yeah. But when do you know when to stop? Is that just the deadline? Like, you have to stop?
I guess, but I mean, if we're saying that we don't set deadlines, like when is that when you're working for yourself effectively, right? Like,
yeah, you just have to put it out there, I guess, like tell yourself to have the confidence to stop editing and just finalize it.
I mean, it's either confidence or foolhardiness, I guess, depending on the on the situation.
How good the work is.
Right, exactly. But yeah. And I think though that is something that's better about actually working on a contract, is that you do get to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, I mean, you figure how many great writers were probably just like, okay, this is never going to be done, and then stuff doesn't get published until they're dead.
Yeah.
And then it's pretty well received or whatever. But maybe just because they're dead sometimes, but it's just a little terrible to say maybe. But yeah, so the book that you mentioned, the Valor Anthology.
Yeah.
That was, as you're talking about, that was part of a Kickstarter campaign is actually what got that out, right?
Yeah.
And
yes.
I mean, yeah, and it's all women, right? It's all women creators that came together.
It's almost all women. I think there's 2 men who worked on it.
Oh, that's pretty cool though. And how long of a process, not just for you for your part in it, but how long was that from conception to publishing?
Oh my God, it was crazy. It was over a year. It was it must have been more than a year and a half. And a lot of that was publishing. Everyone getting their stories in was actually probably more of a shorter process than the editors finalizing the book, and then they had it published over in Hong Kong, I guess, for cost reasons. I don't know. I had nothing to do with that, so I don't know.
Sure.
And then they were late delivering the book, and the book, of course, in turn, printed late. And then the people working on the docks where it was going to ship were on strike. So then the book shipped months late, and it was just a mess.
That sounds so stressful.
Yeah, we have it now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I saw you just got like your box of copies, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
That has to feel awesome having like a physical book with your work in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I actually got my own copy back in TCAF in Toronto in May.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember you said on your video.
We had 1 box of books at that comic festival.
How did it do?
It sold out in like 4 hours. So
that's awesome.
It did well.
How did you get involved with that? Were you friends with somebody who was involved in it? Or did you stumble upon like a call?
No, yeah, it was connections, and for anyone watching this who wants to get into art, it's connections are a really big thing. So you have to have like a social media presence. So the girl who started this book is her name's Isabelle Melancion, and she's the author of Namesake. It's a pretty successful webcomic, and basically a few years ago, 2 years ago, we ended up following each other on DeviantArt, which I don't really use that much anymore because it's not cool anymore. And then
No, that's sad.
I saw her post that she was moving to near where I live. So I sent her a message and I said, "Hey, I live near you. It'd be cool if we ran into each other, you know?" And then she was like, "Well, let's just meet up." And then we became friends. And then she put together this book and invited me to be in the book. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
don't be afraid to message people online, and you don't know what could happen. So
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a little bit difficult to network because there's just so much chaff,
yeah.
right? But yeah, whether you're networking by sharing other people's stuff on your channel or whatever the case may be. I mean, you might wind up with a published comic, which is awesome, right?
Yeah.
So, is there is this meant to be like the first, or is it meant to be standalone? Where there'll be like a series of similar projects, or has it been discussed?
Yeah, actually, it was intended to be a standalone book, and since it was so successful, we have decided to do a sequel.
That's awesome.
But there's no other details right now about it. Like, I don't know even who's going to be in it. I don't know if I'll be in it. They haven't decided yet.
I
So,
see. Well, hopefully,
mm-hmm.
hopefully anyway.
Yeah.
Now, are you going to be selling books, or should people look to get them from like the actual site?
If you're American, definitely get them from the site because the shipping to anywhere outside of the U.S. If you're American living in the U.S., I should say, because
Right.
If you want the book outside of the U.S., it's going to cost you $20 just in shipping.
Yikes.
Yeah, or you can just buy the ebook, which is a lot cheaper.
Sure.
So yeah, I would definitely recommend getting it from the site.
All right. Yeah, guys, like I said, the link is just down below, like all the social media stuff for Hickey here. So please check it out. Support the really awesome creative people who are also YouTubers, which those things aren't mutually exclusive. But anyway, yeah. So what's related to this? I'm always really interested to know like what's your drive? Like a lot of creative people, I don't want to say necessarily they're broken, but like a switch went off, or there's something they're trying to discover the answer to. There's something they're trying to sort of piece together through their art. Is there something like that for you?
It's kind of cheesy and
No, well,
ridiculous.
whatever. Whatever.
But when I was a kid, I wanted magic to be real so bad that now to me the closest thing to magic is creating something.
That's so true.
And on top of that, like it's just something in my brain where if I think about my story or like my characters, I'm sure to you too are alive. They're real people and you know them, and they're not going to leave you alone until you tell their story.
Right. Which is why actually when people say why are we talking about fictional characters, why are we debating whether it's okay for them to be doing these things or being presented that way, that sort of pisses me off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because for our purposes, they are real sort of living, breathing characters.
Yeah.
Which
and they are us. They come from us. And if I look at my characters in my comic, there's three main characters, and one of them's like everything I don't like about myself. The other one is like who I want to be, and the other one is like some other facet. I don't know. They are us.
Right. Which I think that's why some creators are able to sort of write to different genres or write about different themes, but by and large, like that's why characters tend to be similar from work to work, or the theme or the thing you're trying to sort of get to the bottom of tends to be the same overall, right? Because it is such like a personal expression. Yeah. Well, I mean, does the process though, does that take away any of that sorcery for you? I mean, does it still feel as magical for you when you're grinding away?
Um, I think so, yeah. Um, it can be tough with the drawing, and when it gets technical, it's not as connected. But I think once you get into the flow, everything comes together.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
that makes sense. It's really hard to explain.
No, I think, I mean, yeah, I agree. It's sort of like a magical process, but there's also that science bit to it, right? The more practical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. People see, look, people are not thinking that you're being cheesy. People are on board with the magic. So, all right. I guess I'm out of my topics. But while we're on the subject of magic, and we've found out already that you are a Ravenclaw. Why are you a Ravenclaw?
Well, I was placed in Ravenclaw on Pottermore. Yeah.
Is that it? I mean, yeah.
Well, what's the Ravenclaw motto? Something about wit and I don't know, like in order to get into the Ravenclaw house, like the physical room that you have to go into.
Sure.
You have to answer a riddle. So I don't know. I guess I always identified with Ravenclaw because I am bookish and not necessarily academically smart. Like I didn't do well in math and science, but I excelled in other areas. So I think Ravenclaws can represent intelligence that is not on a test in school.
Right. Street smarts, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
The motto, according to the Google, is "Wit beyond measure is man's greatest treasure."
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's cool. That's cool. So, I mean, who did you find yourself relating to when you were reading Harry Potter?
Hermione,
yeah.
Of course.
Hermione's the best character in the books, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
Like far and away.
Yeah. Hermione saved their asses.
Yes.
Harry and Ron had died so many times.
Yes. And I mean, there's all like those explanations of why Hermione is basically the main character of the books out there on the interweb, which I encourage people to go and read because they're pretty interesting. I think they hit the nail on the head pretty well.
I actually haven't read that, so that's cool.
Well, I won't judge you anyway, because Gryffindor for life. Gryffindor for life.
I would have thought you were in Ravenclaw too. Like we seem like we have so many similar characteristics, and
I think like I'm on. Maybe I could fit in both, but I think it's because I also have what ex-girlfriends have sort of unhappily called a hero complex. Right? So
okay,
yeah. So I think that tends to be the defining factor. But no, I appreciate that though. I'll take that as a compliment.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely a big compliment, but thank you.
So did you just decide you're in Gryffindor, or did you take the test on Pottermore?
No, I took the test on Pottermore.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it's pretty legit.
Yeah, Pottermore is one of those things though where I had to stop.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, just because I don't know. As far as like substances go, I don't have like an addictive personality, but when there's like stories and like imaginary worlds involved, I get way too deep into them, and Pottermore is mainlining Harry Potter lore effectively. So
I couldn't get that deep into it.
Really?
I guess because I was in. Were you in the beta? Like the one.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Because back then, none of the games really worked.
Mm.
So it was just really hard to get through. Like, I really like the art on the site. It's amazing. All of the art for the story.
Yeah.
And I read through like the bonus material that J.K. Rowling puts out. Like McGonagall's backstory and stuff like that is really awesome.
Yeah, and she's put out, I think, like oh, what am I thinking of? Anyway, brain fart. But yeah, no, that's I like I guess I was afraid that after Harry Potter she would maybe abandon that world a little bit, because that happens a lot where you
Mm-hmm.
kind of want to kill your darlings, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, really cool place to keep up. Are you looking
Yeah.
forward to the Fantastic Beasts?
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed the Harry Potter movies, so I think it'll be decent.
Well, here's
I
hoping.
kind
And Eddie Redmayne, I think, right?
I don't know.
Well, no, you
Sorry.
do. No, it's
Okay,
fine.
thanks.
It's fine. Yes, but all right. Well, let's wrap it up, I guess. Let's turn to the
Okay,
comments and see. You guys have any
sure.
questions for Hickey about J-pop or being a world crafting goddess or something? Whatever. Please ask them in the comments now, or if you can't comment, if you're watching on mobile, please ask them on Twitter. We will check them out there as well.
Yeah, I have my Twitter open.
Yes.
I know the chat is a few seconds behind too, but I saw someone, it's already buried, but I saw someone saying if they missed the J-pop talk, and I think you did. I'm sorry. It was
Yeah.
near the beginning.
Yeah, she was tossing shade. She was loving on people, drama, comedy.
More shade really than anything.
Indeed. Lots of hate coming your way. Bum
So
bum
what about
bum.
you? Do you still listen to Do As Infinity or?
I did until I think it was like just a couple years ago. They reunited and put out an album that was just terrible, and I was like, all right, I need
Oh.
to I need to move beyond this point in my life, you know. And then now, thanks to you, like I was just telling Elle, this is literally just the past couple weeks I have accrued all of these Utada CDs.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm hooked for sure. And poor Travis Moore, who doesn't speak a lick of Japanese, as we were at karaoke, I was just like hammering on.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
You're like, listen to my dulcet tones.
Exactly. Whatever. The
I
Nomi
did
Hodai
that.
made everything fun. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. I think you're being asked if you've ever been to Fukui.
No, I haven't. I've only been to the Tokyo area.
Mm. There you go.
Aki, yeah, Aki
Yeah.
asked, what suggestions do you have for someone that wants to improve their drawing abilities? The biggest thing in improving your drawing abilities is studying life. So once you know how to draw realism, you can take those skills and transform that into any other style you want to draw, whether it's like anime or more like American cartoons or Marvel comics. When I first started learning that, I really balked at that too, because I was so embedded in anime style that I didn't care to learn how to draw realistically. But it's so important in just observing life and how people act and how they look and the structure of someone's face it's super important. So
Good question.
yeah. Ben CG asks, any J-pop acts you used to hate but now love? Are there any you can think of, Charles?
Oh, Charles, very, very formal. Any that I hate. Yeah, actually, recently, I don't even know if she qualifies as an act, but I've been getting into Vocaloids. Just like,
Oh,
yeah, I have like an irrational fear of the robot apocalypse, but So that kept me away. But then I don't know. I think one of my kids was playing it at school, one of like the Hatsune Miku songs.
Hmm.
And so recently, yeah, but then this is just like anything else. And then now this creepy little thing is sitting on my desk next to my writing station. So yeah, she's probably the biggest example. How about you? Is there anything
Okay.
that you flip-flopped on?
Actually, um, I used to not like Kodakumi. If you guys know her, I was first introduced to her when I went to Japan on vacation, and my friend was like, "That's Kodakumi. She sucks. She's a slut." And I was like, "Ew." And then when I came back home to Canada, I just started listening to her a lot, and I've been in love ever since. So
Uh,
that's
what
that's one example.
what's your favorite song?
By Kodakumi.
Yeah.
Uh Maybe Love Technique or
Mhm.
that's hard. I actually never thought of that.
It's a dumb question for me to ask because I have no frame of reference. I know the song. I think it was called Butterfly.
Oh yeah, I love that
Yeah.
song.
And I only know it because my friend sang it at karaoke one time. So that's all I've got.
Okay, yeah. She does a really good cover of Cutie Honey. That was the first
Oh.
song I ever heard by her at karaoke in Japan. The first time I
Mm.
ever went to karaoke.
I feel like I want to check these out, but I also don't want a stack of Kodakumi CDs in the next week. You know?
And she
Yeah.
has a lot more albums than Utad Hikaru, so you'd be in trouble.
Oh, good Lord. Save me. Save me. All right. I don't think, did you get any questions on Twitter?
No, not that I
Okay.
can see.
Likewise. All right. Well, guys, if there are no other questions, I guess we will go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you, Hikki, for joining me. Like a really interesting conversation about art that I've been looking to have. So, yeah, please be sure to check out her social media pages. Check out the Valor Anthology. Support her artistic endeavors, and yeah, I'll leave it to you to close out.
Oh, yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming to the live stream, and I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, thanks for having me on, Charles.
Yeah, no, no problem. I hope we can do it again sometime.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, great. All right, awesome. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Thank you guys.